Hey guys, it's your girl Alicia, aka GeekXX Chic, and we're back with a reaction to The Flash. After a little hiatus, we are back. The Flash is back with episode 8 of the season, which is called The People vs. Killer Frost. Let's get into this episode. Let's find out whether or not Miss Frost is going to have to spend some time in jail or not. But before we do, you know the drill. If you have been here before and you like what you see, please go ahead and hit that subscribe button. That way you can be notified when I do more reactions to this show as well as other shows in the same vein. So if you're interested in seeing more of me, please go ahead, click the button, join the fam. We would love to have you. Okay, that out of the way, guys. Let's get into the episode right about now.
I know what you mean.
As for the other lockdown, we're gonna need it for what you're proposing, ma'am.
Okay, so she's at Argus. Working with Argus? We'll find out. Maybe this is why she wants Frost. I mean, Frost really should still potentially pay for what she's done, but if this turned out to be a huge front just to get her, you know, in a lab, I wouldn't be surprised about that either.
Katie, I know you want to help, but ever since becoming my own person, I've realized that if I don't own up for my choices, I'll never be able to move on.
Thank you! Tell them, please! The voice of reason, Killer Frost, who'da thunk?
Until I pay for what I did, the rest of the city won't look at me the way you all do.
That's exactly what I've been trying to scream for, like, eons. Thank you.
Keystone Cares, that's a non-profit that helps those in need. Why would Frears be there?
Maybe Frears is a good person. Just because she tried to crush Barry to death doesn't mean that that's, like, all she does.
Which is why she's seeking a fair punishment. Not only because it's the right thing to do.
This guy!
To ensure that this extremely dangerous criminal no longer threatens our good citizens. Which is why we believe she must have her powers erased.
That's a bit much. Interesting, though. There's definitely a moral dilemma there. You shouldn't have to force people to take something.
Prohibited from owning firearms, Frost's powers are weapons that the state can take away using the cure.
It's actually logical.
He only has because we gave it to them. A cure that's supposed to be voluntary. How can Kramer just force Frost?
Where did you think was gonna happen, though, baby?
Be surprised what could be. We need to fight fire with fire. Hack Kramer, dig up dirt, whatever it takes to save Frost. No.
Relax, Katie. Why are we suddenly criminal?
Break the law again.
Yes. How is that gonna help?
Not at all. Okay, Katie?
I understand the desperation, but let's kind of come up with legal ideas first.
There's still so much we don't know about these forces.
We know all we need to. They're dangerous.
Yeah, but so are you technically,
I
ma'am.
remember how they attacked.
And Frears are too, but do you remember what Chester and Cisco said about Dion, the Still Force?
He was just a kid who wanted to be left alone.
Yeah, I mean, does that seem like a vicious energy feeder to you?
Something doesn't add up here. Barry, the creature that we're hunting, killed someone and tried to kill you. We can't let ourselves be fooled by the human facades these forces hide behind.
Excuse me. Husband and wife are talking. No one invited you to this conversation, ma'am. Why are you so determined to destroy them? And we don't even know what happened in that attack yet, so...
I'm Alexa Rivera, the field supervisor for Keystone Cares. What can I do for you?
Okay, you know, I'm gonna need you not to do Speed Forces attack this chick. Because I'm wondering if she even has control over her powers yet. Because she couldn't even talk when we first saw her. She just roared. So maybe this is like a Hulk situation.
Which way am I going again? This whole breaking into CCPD thing is freaking me out.
And also, since you're an ex-con, maybe not the smartest idea for you to be doing.
Caitlin Allegra needs backup. Kramer's got her pinned.
So aggressive. Oh my god.
Oh, you should really get that checked out.
Yeah, have someone take a look at it.
Really, ma'am? You were just in Argus and you don't think that that was suspicious? Oh, this handheld cam work. That's new in The Flash.
The cure has been neutralized. Now get the hell out of there before I have a heart attack.
Do you really think that's all the cure that they have? Or that they haven't, you know, reverse engineered it so that they can just make more?
Look, I've been to rehab and I don't have a record, so whatever crime you're investigating...
No, it's nothing like...
I mean, you do have CSI right on your shirt there. And And it doesn't help that the Speed Force is looking at this chick like she's about to slap her.
Well, then what do you want from me?
Blood sample, urine sample, skin sample, hair, firstborn.
With the team there that can.
You're the monster who attacked Central City and killed a man.
Oh my God. Speed Force, it's time for you to go back to your room.
There are people who actually need my help. Please don't contact me again.
Thanks for that, Nora. Seriously, that name is getting slandered between the fake daughter and now this one. Like, Noras are not doing well in this show.
Nora, I know you're new to all of this, but we don't just grab people and test them against
Right?
their will.
Why not?
Because
lives are at stake.
not how this works.
Well, maybe it should.
Barry, you and I know what this thing is really
Barry, you're gonna have to go between your mom and your wife, and you know what the answer is.
needs to be done. We're asking him to give up a part of what makes him a hero.
Woo!
So yes, Nora.
Iris is getting claws out. Don't come for her. She did not send for you.
I don't understand how this court can force Frost to take that cure without sacrificing what it stands for.
I agree with that. The jail time, I still think she should have, but not the cure. That part's just messed up.
We have a new update regarding a relevant incident that could affect your ruling. If it pleases the court.
The fact that y'all just messed this up.
CCPD security cameras were hacked at the exact moment the cure was
Right? Like, y'all were so sloppy.
Considering the cure isn't a viable option, can the court assume the state is no longer seeking it as a punishment?
On the contrary.
We have more.
So she contacted Argus on behalf of the state and had them replicate the cure.
You didn't think that would happen, children.
We should have 100 vials ready by nightfall.
Girl.
All we need is your decision, Your Honor.
You see? You see why you should have left it alone. This is exactly for once Killer Frost was like, actually, y'all, stay out of it.
This is for your own good.
That is not true. Move along, ma'am. Move it along.
Please tell us you know a way out of this.
Can you reverse time? Actually, the Flash can, but that's always ended badly, so no.
It won't harm you. You're gonna survive. Great, whatever. Frost, this is the miracle we've been waiting for.
Not really. It still doesn't change the unethical nature of forcing someone to take a cure they didn't ask for.
When there is a perfectly safe solution, changing who I am is not a solution.
There you
Why
go.
do you even ask me that? You're the one who said the cure should always be a choice. Then
Exactly.
why don't you choose this?
Why are you screaming, girl? I'm literally here.
Terrified of living a life that you're not in.
Girl, prison is not... You're acting like she's going to the moon. She's gonna be in jail. Barry's been... Ask him about it. He literally lived with having someone he loved in prison for 20 years. Come on.
Katie, don't you see? It's not me you're trying to protect. It's yourself.
Woo! Frost just dropping bars this episode, and nobody's listening. Hello?
And I just remember feeling so angry when Abracadabra destroyed our worksite.
So it wasn't pointless.
I don't remember much else.
Hulk situation.
I don't know if I'm strong enough to know the truth. I'm
You have to be, girl. Running from it never works.
so weak.
How hilarious. What a good way that they put that. That I feel so weak even though she's the most powerful thing on the planet.
First you take the cure, then any meta who endangers the good of the people will have to follow suit.
You cannot be serious.
She's dead serious.
I admire your fight.
You're wrong, ma'am. Can't take your own personal vendetta and use it as a blanket across all metas. It's not fair, ma'am.
Come with me. Speed Labs this way.
I don't trust her, Barry, and I know your gut's telling you that something's off right now. If Iris doesn't like somebody, you know something's up.
I learned that I'm my best self when I'm protecting other people.
This dude literally has had no lines. Why?
I hereby sentence the metahuman criminal known as
Frost. Oh, she dropped it.
to life in prison without the possibility of parole.
Nice knowing you, Frost. You did the right thing. You'll probably get out on early behavior, though. No one's gonna care about it in 2 years.
Every meta in town will know what you did for us.
He got a line! Hallelujah. If he had just nodded one more time, I swear.
What is it?
Yeah.
Nothing.
Just the way you inspired Barry to reach out to Alexa. You really are his lightning rod.
That's right. Never forget it. I don't like it. She doesn't like that Iris can get to Barry the way she can. It's just very terrifying to think that a giant rage monster is also someone who's prone to panic attacks. Bitch, what?
You may be his lightning rod, but I'm the lightning.
You actually thought you bit. Not today, bitch. Not today. You are not coming for Iris after what he just went through last season, girl. No way.
Thank you.
I really hope she survived that.
Time to choose a side, Barry.
Iris! 1,000 times over and forever, bitch! Get out of my house! Oh, Speed Force, why? Why? What are you? What is happening? I'm confused. But that was very interesting. Alright, guys, that was episode 8 of The Flash, which was called The People versus Killer Frost. And I think that that was a really good way to kind of put a bow on this whole Killer Frost storyline. As I explained a couple episodes ago, I just feel like this storyline with Killer Frost has never been necessarily the best written for The Flash. I feel like they really could have done a much better job of deciding how they were going to deal with this dual identity or this separate persona or whatever they were going to do with this. And I think in season 2, when they brought the idea of Caitlin being her alter ego in the comics, that the writers got a little excited and just thought, oh, what can we do with this? And then, like I said, just didn't really think it through. And it's sad because I do think that Killer Frost as a character is cool. I read a little bit about her comic counterpart, and I think that if they had gone that route, it would have been super interesting and a lot of fun. But sadly, that's not what they did. They actually ended up changing it a lot, and I don't think the changes were necessarily the best to translate her character to screen. And as I said, I think in the end, this just was one of those things where the potential for Killer Frost was huge, but they just never really fleshed it out. And it just kind of ended up always feeling very just not fully baked, if that makes sense. In the end, I think this is probably for the best. I thought it was very confusing to have this Caitlin versus Killer Frost, and when they split into two, I was like, oh no, like if they're going to go with this for the rest of the season, it just doesn't make sense. So having her actually kind of be out of the picture for a while, to me, is not a bad thing. I don't think that her sentence is going to be for life the way that they said. Obviously, I mean, first of all, this isn't real. But you know what I mean? Like, there are criminals who get out on good behavior all the time, even if they've been sentenced to life without parole. You know, as the judge said, her recent deeds have definitely made an impression. There's a lot of people out there who probably have forgiven Frost for what she did in the past, but Frost was dropping straight bars this episode. I think she explained everything that I've been trying to say for the last couple of episodes, was that she did commit these crimes. And the only way to show that she's truly grown from that is to take the responsibility for that, which in this case, she's done things that were against the law. The law dictates that she should go to prison, and that's what she's doing. So, like, that's not hate, that's just the reality. And I actually really like how mature they've made Frost in the last couple of episodes. Glad that that happened. Definitely glad that the Medicure thing didn't become real. I think it's really interesting that the show chose to kind of touch on the ethical issue that forcing the cure on people would present. And even, was it 2 seasons ago when they introduced the whole idea of the Medicure, I was like, oh my gosh, no, like this never leads well or leads to a good place or goes well. And, you know, whenever you introduce something that can strip away something from someone or change who they fundamentally are, you're going deeply into moral territory, morally gray territory. I mean, like, there's some horrible things that have happened in human history in the name of justice because people thought it would neutralize the situation, and that's not the case. like crime still exists and people still do things they're not supposed to despite these extremes. All this does often is just create victims that are not deserving. So I'm glad that they kind of revisited that whole Medicure thing and how dangerous it was to just put it out there, and the fact that Team Flash never thought about the fact that creating this cure was going to inevitably open the door for it to be forcibly put onto people at some point. And I like that the judge addressed that if they did allow this to happen as a possible punishment, that it was going to open the door for people to seek this out in the future. But I'm glad in the end she's like, no, this isn't the right situation and maybe we shouldn't be opening this door at all. But I do believe it's going to happen anyways. If Argus has already figured out how to manufacture it, it is definitely going to be something we're going to see again in the future. Outside of that, of course, the Speed Force stuff was crazy. A lot of people have been saying that there's something shifty about this Speed Force. She's too clingy with Barry. There's something off. I wasn't sure how to feel about it because I knew this wasn't the same Speed Force as we had before. But clearly something is off, and we saw it here. The old Speed Force used to be very detached, very unemotional. Used to just basically like be like, well, Barry, I know you need help with things, but not my problem. I'm a god or whatever. This Speed Force is way more human in the way that she acts. She's very just emotional and takes things personally. And as we saw in this episode, very much does not like the fact that Barry and Iris have a little relationship that she can't get between. And like I said in the episode, do never challenge Barry's loyalty to Iris, because the answer is always Iris, above everything, above himself, okay? You gave the man his powers, it's true. But if Barry Allen had to choose between being the Flash, giving that up for the rest of his life, or the life of his wife, and being with Iris, he would choose Iris 100 times over. We already know this. He'd be like, Speed Force where? Take your powers, bitch. I got my wife, okay? I've been working on this since I was 10. I just met you a few years ago. Bye. But yes, she found out the hard way that Barry is never going to choose anyone over Iris, but at least now we know that there is something off with this Speed Force. I don't know exactly if we need to be worried about it yet. I noticed that the lightning that she used when she zapped Fuerza was all the colors. It wasn't just her lightning. So I think that that's a clue for us that there's something else going on there. Maybe she's the one trying to devour all the forces. Maybe she devoured them all in the first place and that's why we never saw them. I don't know, but there's definitely something going on there. And now we know, unfortunately, that she can't really be trusted per se. Now, I don't know what this means for Barry. I don't know if his Speed Force is still within him and that, like in the old version, she could control Barry's power. Like she could take the speed when she wanted and give it to him when she wanted to. I don't know that that's still the case. I don't think that connection is still there. But she did say she needed Barry's speed to help her defeat these other forces. So it sounds like she's not connected to Barry in the same way, but that she still needs him. And I'm wondering what she'll do if Barry inevitably says, I'm not going to help you destroy these other forces, at least not without cause. Yeah, it'll be interesting to see how this goes. I really like that standoff at the end. Like, we all know Barry's going to definitely choose Iris and always choose life over death, but what the ramifications will be for him making that choice, having the Speed Force working against him for the first time ever, like, I think that could be a very interesting storyline, and I'm hoping that we get to explore it this season, because that could be fun, on top of course, all the craziness that's already going on with the forces that are still out there. So, yeah, very interesting episode. Definitely got very, very hype at the end, and I'm very curious to see where we're going to go with it going forward. What do you guys think the Speed Force is up to? Do you think that she really has gone evil, or do you think that this is just another side of her humanness that's coming through and warping her perspective? Please leave those below. You know I love reading those comments and getting involved in that conversation with you. And if you like this video, please go ahead and hit that like button. And if you want to see more from this geeky face, click subscribe. Until next time, see ya!